In the United States, the month of February belongs to Black history. Why, you may ask? Well, because of two individuals who contributed to the liberation of slaves that were born in February. The first person being the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. The second individual, who we'll talk about in detail today, Frederick Douglass. It's the year 1818. Slavery is still active across the United States. In the same year, in Talbot County, Maryland, a child named Frederick Douglass was born into slavery. In his infancy, he was separated from his mother, but remained with his grandmother. But he was later separated from his grandmother at the age of 6. After the separation of his grandmother, he now lived and worked in a plantation in Baltimore, Maryland. At the same time, he was introduced to the alphabet. He would later use what he knew about the alphabet to teach himself to read and write. Out of the same inspiration, he later started to teach the people around him how to read using the Bible. But this would only bring negative consequences. You see, slavery was considered a good thing by the slave masters. The main reason being because it was good for their pockets. The biggest threat to their prosperity was the rebellion of their own slaves. But as long as they couldn't read or write, the possibility of the slaves rebelling was slim. Therefore, the slave owners would be okay. As a result of Frederick Douglass's attempts to teach others around him how to read, rumors spreaded, and he was later transferred to another plantation where he was brutally treated. At the age of 16, he was regularly whipped in the plantation. In 1838, at the age of 20, Frederick Douglass managed to escape the plantation he was in to later land in a safe spot in New York. In 1843, Frederick Douglass began his journey as an anti-slavery activist by joining the Hundreds Conventions Project. He would later publish an autobiography called The Narrative of the Life of Frederick Douglass, an American Slave, talking about his past life as a slave and his journey to freedom. He continued to make valuable contributions to the anti-slavery movement, but there were times where he suffered, like the attack he received in Pendleton, Indiana, that resulted in his hand being broken, with injuries never being able to fully heal. But in the end, Frederick Douglass's work contributed to the activation of the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863, which ended the practice of slavery. A couple things we can learn from Frederick Douglass. 1, it's not about how you start, but how you finish. Frederick Douglass began his life as a slave, but he ended his life as an activist that contributed to the end or the termination of slavery in the United States. He began his life as an illiterate person who could not read or write, but he taught himself how to read and write, and along the journey, he also taught other people. The second thing we can learn about Frederick Douglass is, if the cause or the reason of doing something matters enough, then the journey to that destination is worth it. Because the liberation of the slaves was worth enough for Frederick Douglass, he was willing to endure all the trials and all the trouble that he faced on the journey. Through Frederick Douglass's testimony, I would like to say a few things. To the student who's struggling in class right now, you might be struggling now, but you can finish the school year well if it matters enough to you. You'll face challenges. The math work isn't always going to make sense. You'll want to do anything else other than the homework you have. You'll feel bad when you do the work and still not get the results that you wanted. But if your education matters enough, you'll wake up every day wanting to do better, even if you fail at times. Pick yourself up. I believe you can achieve everything you put your mind to. Truly, I believe you can. Thanks for watching.